Kia ora koutou. Welcome to another edition of the Hot Air Sports Podcast with me, Macca, and me good mate Mahona. How's the City of Sales treating you, mate?
It's looking marvellous out the window today there, Macca. Fantastic, I'd say. We're heading towards about 25 degrees.
Oh, lovely and
A little
comfortable.
northwesterly, zephyr.
Little nor'wester. Lovely.
Yeah, mate. First Hot Air Sports Podcast for 2024, isn't it?
Under 2024.
How long have we been doing these? About 3 or 4 years now.
Oh, 4 years? Yeah, 4 years. Started in COVID lockdown, didn't it?
We did. We had a bit more time on our hands then, didn't we?
We certainly did.
There's
And
been plenty going on, hasn't there, in the world of sports this year?
Oh, absolutely. And I tell you what, we've got a massive weekend coming up. Excuse me. We've got Super Rugby starting. There's Six Nations. There's league trials. Supercars gets underway. More football than you can shake your stick at. The Carabao Cup final on Sunday night. Spring training baseball games start. Oh, and I nearly forgot, there's a cricket series going on against the West Island.
There is. And where are we going to start with all that, mate? Have you got an agenda we're going to work down? Because
I think we should start with football.
Okay, let's start with football because
given our mutual love for Liverpool, and just a wee precursor teaser, there could be a Liverpool podcast coming your way soon.
Yeah, with a couple of special guests and specifically aimed at our Liverpool listeners with all sorts of insight and comment and dissension amongst the ranks. Although the way they're playing at the moment, mate, who would dissent about anything that's going on at the moment? We got injuries for Africa. That game against Luton, we didn't have our first choice right back. We didn't have our 3 first choice midfielders. We didn't have our 3 first choice attackers. We didn't have our first choice goalie, and we still smashed them.
Yes, quite right. Quite right. Big Verge showed the way. My God,
didn't he?
Well again, isn't he?
I mean, you could go through that whole team, couldn't you? I mean, the big news, though, obviously, since the last time we spoke, is Jurgen Klopp, of course, leaving the club. That is perhaps the biggest news
it is.
That Liverpool have had for the last, since Jurgen Klopp was hired, perhaps.
Yep.
So, what do you make of the gnashing of teeth and all that about the Liverpool fans sort of going, oh my God, this is the end of our club? What do you make of all that?
Well, I've got to say I'm old enough to remember the last time a manager of this scale left the club, and that was Bill Shankly in 1974, which ironically was the first year I started following.
Wow.
And that's 50 years ago this year, so unbelievable. I mean, it was always going to happen. Obviously, he was never going to do an Alex Ferguson and stay for 26 years.
No, he wasn't.
He puts too much into it and just looking at the pictures of him after the game on the weekend, of him just leaning against the wall. He just looked
aged.
He looked like a dead man in an alive man's body.
Visible signs of aging. You can actually see him from the beginning to the end of the match, can't you?
Oh, absolutely. And just, what his team puts him through. How often have we gone behind this year and, needed a rousing halftime speech for the boys to come out and then kick us in the second half. So, I mean, it's a huge, and what he's done, I mean, they talk about Liverpool 2.0, and, it really is, all it was a midfield rebuild. Over the off season. And I mean, after that horrid 22-23 season where, we didn't even qualify for Champions League and we only just scraped in for Europa League, to be going full hammer down on 4 fronts. Obviously, mentioned the Carabao Cup final is this weekend. That's the first of them. Still in the hunt for the league, still in the hunt for the FA Cup. We've got Southampton next weekend, the following weekend in the FA Cup, and obviously the Premier League is up for grabs. I mean, yes, we've played a game more than Arsenal and Man City, 5 points ahead. Man City dropped points on the weekend against a very inconsistent Chelsea side. Hopefully we'll see bad Chelsea on Sunday rather than good Chelsea. Maybe that was their good performance, he's hoping. So, I mean, City, will possibly drop more points on the way. Arsenal play Newcastle this weekend. You just don't know whether it's bad Newcastle or good Newcastle turn up. Hopefully it's good Newcastle and they get a result. But it's just from turning it around from what we were last year is just quite incredible. I mean, the last 5 seasons, we won the title, had a shitter of a season with the no defenders.
Mm.
Then we had a good season where we won 2 trophies, nearly won 4.
Yeah.
Then another shocking season where we didn't qualify for Champions League. And now we're back to 2 years ago where we were fighting on all 4 fronts.
That's right. That's right. I mean, the players look absolutely motivated, don't they? That's the key thing. I mean, they look, it doesn't matter who's injured, we're bringing in someone else. That's the thing as well, a sprinkling of youth now throughout the team. And Jurgen Klopp seems to be bringing those guys in. I mean, a lot of things he doesn't have a choice, does he?
Yeah.
I mean, we've arguably got the best right back in the world injured, and we're not missing him. We've got the best goalkeeper in the world injured. We're not really missing him. We've got the guys stepping up that are young guys that just look like they've been doing it for years.
I was just actually going to say that. Connor Bradley and Jarell Quansah. I mean, they look as though they've got 10 seasons experience underneath them.
As Jurgen Klopp said to them, look, guys, you've been doing this for 10 years. Exactly. No panic, no panic. You've been in Champions League finals. You've won everything in the world. Just step in. They just look to the manner born, don't they?
Mm.
And I mean, whether that's just great coaching, whether that's just he's giving them the confidence. They've obviously got the talent, but we've seen it so many times in the past, especially when you've lived as long as us. Young talent coming through. It looks amazing to start with, and then it just fades out and dies.
Mm.
Connor Bradley, mate. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen, even when Trent came into the side and just looked $1 million, I think this guy looks better. It's phenomenal. He's dropping into midfield. That second half, he basically took control of that game. It was incredible from right back.
Well, the game against Brentford on the weekend, he was doing a Trent, like he was collecting the ball in the middle of the park, as you say, and
that's not even to mention.
And to add to the fact, he's actually a really, really good defender.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, Trent's a good defender, but he's not a great defender.
Yeah, absolutely. He can defend. I mean, maybe put Trent. I mean, we've just got. Yeah, I just can't say enough about that guy. I mean, and then his father dies, and you sort of think, he'll 20-year-old kid, that's going to hit anyone at any age, a hell of a hard, and he comes back in and he's just phenomenal, mate. That game against Chelsea, I mean, it has to be the Liverpool individual performance of the season, that game. He was just out of this world, and I just love the way that Klopp's sort of sprinkling a few of the youngsters through the team and bringing them in. Bobby Clark, he's only been given a few minutes. He's been given 5 games off the. I think he'll probably come into his because we've obviously got a few injuries happening now in the midfield, and suspensions and stuff. I mean, we've got Jota out, we've got Curtis out, we've got Dominic out. I mean, so he will get minutes. I mean, all of these young guys are going to get minutes. I suppose we should talk Carabao Cup final, shall we? I mean, it's this weekend. It's against Chelsea.
It's an interesting one, as I've mentioned before. Chelsea have played some very good games, and they've got some very good players, but they're
improving.
They are improving, but they've still been inconsistent, haven't they?
Yep, they have. But they do seem to save their best for us. And I think Nkuku will be up front for them this time. So he's a bloody good striker. I mean. What he did in the Bundesliga. I think they've missed him this season. So I think he's fit and firing. So they're going to be dangerous, man. I mean, I remember that last Carabao Cup. I don't know whether you remember it. It was a bloody great game. It was a 0-0.
Yeah.
But wow, what a game it was. I think we had an XG of about 2.5 and they had an XG of 2 and it was 0-0. It was a great game. So, and Kelleher in goal again. So he's done it before. He's been a hero biscuit before. So I'd just love to see us. I'd love to see us do it in 90 minutes. I mean, I don't think we need extra time. Thank you.
Extra time and penalties are too nerve-wracking.
No, don't need that, mate. Don't need that. So up the Reds. Up the Reds.
Up the Reds. Yep, quite right. Moving on to rugby. I mentioned it's the start of Super Rugby this week.
Is it?
It's still too early. It's still too early. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And they need to sort the rugby calendar out because they
should have done that before.
I mean,
that's generally what you do. before you start a year, you start your calendar, you go, okay, we'll sort this. Oh no, we'll just chuck it all up. We'll just chuck it at the calendar and see what sticks at the moment.
I mean, it's February the 23rd is the first game. Now, let me just quickly look up to see when the All Blacks' last game of the year is. And it is November the 24th.
There you go. So nearly December.
Basically 10 months' time.
That's crazy. That's just stupid, isn't it? Will Jordan out for the season?
Will Jordan, he's gone.
What has he done? Well, I didn't see what the injury was.
Shoulder injury, apparently.
Is it?
Yeah, so I reckon it's actually probably the most open competition that we've seen in years. I think the Chiefs have to start favourites. You can never go past the Crusaders, even though they've got a new coach and Rob Penny, missing some of their best players. You mentioned Will Jordan, Ethan Blackadder, David Havili, Lee Halfpenny, the former Welsh fullback who they signed. They're all out for at least the first few games. I think Halfpenny might be gone for most of the season.
And are they training with Liverpool or something?
Yeah, they must be. They got the same medical staff. Yeah, just crazy. I mean, good signs though for the Chiefs. They've got Quinn Tupaia back after that horrific knee injury.
It's horrible.
Darcy Swain, the Wallabies lock, just planted himself on Tupaia's knee and basically destroyed it, which it was disgusting.
Yeah.
They're only really missing Brodie Retallick, the Chiefs, so they've still got some superstars on their side. Damian McKenzie, Jacobson's their captain, Luke Jacobson.
Who's the coach of the Chiefs nowadays?
It's still Clayton McMillan. He coached them the last couple of years.
Yeah,
he's the only actually incumbent coach. All the other four sides have all got new coaches. The Blues.
That's why I asked. I thought maybe I'd missed something.
The Blues have got Vern Cotter.
They've brought in Tony Brown though, haven't they? The Blues. Sorry? They've brought in Tony Brown as an assistant. Yeah, which is an interesting appointment.
Hurricanes and Highlanders have also got new coaches. Though Hurricanes have got former Sevens coach Clark Laidlaw, the good Scotsman. Clark
great Laidlaw, name, great Scottish name. Yeah,
and former Landers hooker Clark Dermody takes over the reins at the Highlanders. Jamie Joseph is back, hanging around the Highlanders. They've made up a position for him as director of rugby. So,
okay. So what does that really do? Is that just
I think he's there to just lend Clark Dermody a helping hand.
He's just overseeing things.
Yep. Not really expecting too much from sides outside New Zealand. The Brumbies will be dangerous again. But I think
are we playing the South African sides now or not? No, we don't play them anymore. Is that over?
Yeah, it's over.
So that version of Super Rugby's gone forever.
It has. Yep. Which is a bit of a shame, but
it is.
I actually think that the two Pacifica sides could be dark horses this year. They've made some astute signings, Moana Pacifica and the Fijian Drua. And I think they could cause a few upsets. And with more than half the competition qualifying for the playoffs.
That'd be nice if one of them made the playoffs, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, the Drua made the playoffs last year. Yeah. They got to the quarterfinals. Unfortunately, they came across the Crusaders side in full form.
What if they get a home semi-final?
Well, that could be interesting.
That would be great. What would happen? Would they play it over in the islands, or would they play it? You think they play it in Auckland?
You'd like them to, wouldn't you? I think Moana Pacifica's home ground is Mount Smart. Or Go Media.
Go Media Fresh Stadium,
something like
whatever it's called. Yeah.
Ericsson Stadium.
Ericsson Stadium. Mount Smart.
Yeah. And the Drua play most of their games in Sydney.
Yeah.
So if they make a playoff, it'd be great to see them take a game back to
Wouldn't it? Take it to Nandi.
Nandi.
Hack it out. Yeah.
Now I've been a bit more interested in the Six Nations this year.
Me too. Funnily
possibly
enough,
because Scotland are actually playing some really good rugby.
That's true. That's true. Oh, they were robbed that first week. Oh,
sawn off by the bloody TMO. That just TMO won't go away, will he?
No, he won't. No, in all sports, basically, you put a palm in the box and it equals controversy, doesn't it, mate? It's just
all the Scotland fans, me included, are saying,
yep,
you could definitely see the ball going down, and
you could.
It can't have gone any further.
What's below there?
Yeah, what's below there? But no, the TMO says, I couldn't physically see the ball touch the ground.
He was looking for clear and obvious.
Because there's a bloody leg and the arm in the way, you dickhead.
Exactly.
Where else is it going?
I don't know. No, that was crazy. That was at the end of the France game. Of course, they lost with it. It was a last-minute try, wasn't it? I mean, it was an effort.
Yep.
I mean, the Scots really lost it themselves. I mean, with the way they played in the last 10 minutes, because they were up. They should have won. But that was a terrible decision. But, so it's great to see that they're still struggling, that rugby's still struggling with those sorts of issues, mate. They had a whole off-season to fix it all, and we come back, and it's exactly the same.
Yep. Although the lawmakers of Super Rugby Pacific reckon we'll see a faster flowing game this season with
why?
With less interruptions. Of course, yes, whatever. Wait, that remains to be seen. But the Six Nations games have been a bit more exciting. Scotland, of course, held on to beat Wales in the first round. Big games this weekend.
What's happening this weekend?
England and Scotland.
Calcutta Cup.
For the Calcutta Cup. And Ireland play France. That'll be a cracker.
That'll be a beast. Yep, that'll be a great game.
And Ireland are playing Wales.
Okay.
Which is always a form goes out when
absolutely
Ireland play Wales, and France should be easy winners over Italy.
Yep. But mind you, the Italians seem to be improving as well. They look pretty handy in the first game. A little better than they have anyway. So,
have you had a look at the Netflix documentary on the Six Nations?
No, I haven't yet. I've seen.
It's quite good.
Any good? Yeah. I've been catching up with the latest installment of Sunderland Till I Die. I don't know whether you've seen that.
Yes, I watched a couple of those the other day. Still got to watch the last one.
It's just a train wreck, isn't it, mate? It's just. I mean, Ricky Gervais couldn't have written it any better, really. It's just an absolute train wreck. So there you go. There's a couple of Netflix recommendations for you.
Quite right. Rugby League. The
Rugby League
pre-season games have started. The Warriors go into 2024 with a positive outlook, given their 2023 performance, which saw them fall one game short of a grand final appearance. The return of crowd favourites Roger Tuivasa-Sheck and Chanel Harris-Tavita, plus a few other new players, which I'm sure Aaron will tell us about, must give coach Andrew Webster a good level of confidence going into March 8th's first round.
Does it what? And it gives me a hell of a lot of confidence as well, man. I watched that game, the trial game, watched the whole lot. First of all, the crowd, it was in Christchurch. Yeah. They nearly got 20,000. I mean, it was 16,500 or something. I thought, this isn't an NRL game. This is crazy. I mean, pre-season NRL game down there with that sort of crowd. That has to say something, that there's something building with the Warriors. We have a lot to build on last year. Previously, though, when we've done this, we've always just shat our bed the next season. And I usually am not very confident at the beginning of the season. I'm always like, it's our year. But really, it's always a little bit tongue-in-cheek. This year, I just see so many strengths in this team. We got a guy sent off after about 15, 16 minutes. Zion Ma'u was a terrible hit. The guy knocked the guy stone cold out, and he was sent off. Actually did our team a hell of a favor. We played with 12 players for the whole game, so he couldn't get it. You couldn't play everyone exactly where he wanted to play them. But really, out of Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, 55 minutes, made 120 plus meters, comes off, looked absolutely awesome in the centers, made a couple of just pile driving tackles. He's just looked so good in defense as well as attack, and he's just an Adonis the way he's built. I just absolutely love him. We had so many players out, so many experienced players out. So it was really the young guys that stood up, and my God, have we got some young guys coming through? This young guy, Laban, I don't know, obviously related to Ken Laban.
Must be.
I don't know whether you've heard of him, but he is just a beast. He's 19 years old, 190, about 120, 115 kgs, and he is just a beast. Can step off both feet, scored a fantastic try. And just some of the young guys come out. Zion Ma'u, I was actually specifically looking to watch him, and he got sent off. So that was hard. And he's been suspended now for, I believe, 2 games. They did appeal. So it looks like he'll be back for the Canberra Raiders to make his debut after round 3. I've just got so much hope for this year. Of course, Chanel coming back. We've got multiple options in the halves with him and who else we got in the halves? Of course,
Sean Johnson.
Sean Johnson's locked in at number 7. But we've got Luke Metcalf, who looked good, who looked fit, he looked quick, he controlled the play. Tamari Martin, of course, who played in the All-Stars game, and Chanel Harris-Tavita, of course, coming back. So we've got multiple options in the halves, but these young forwards coming through. Wade Egan at hooker, he looked fantastic last year. I'd say he'd be in the top 5 hookers in the NRL, take his game to another level. And we've signed, we've got Mitch Barnett. We've just got a forward pack full of stars. I don't know how we're under the cap, to be honest. I look at all the stars that we've got, and I'm just full of hope. And just optimism for this year. It's just great. Roll on the NRL. I mean, we've got a game against the Dolphins, I believe, this weekend. All the big guys will be back for that, and just excited for the season, man. I mean, everything that Webster's saying is just he says, "Yep, we made a step last year, but that's in the past. Look forward." He's just saying all the right things.
Yeah,
he's just understated. They're not making lots and lots of noise themselves about the way they're playing. They're just going about their business, and it's just great to see, mate. So, filled with optimism for this year's season.
And some big news out of the New Zealand camp with the little
Kiwis. Number 7, Stacey Jones up the wires. That's a great news for the little general, isn't it, mate? He did bloody great covering for the Warriors when we were sort of at a very low ebb there, and obviously he motivates the team. I mean, when you come to International League, let's be honest, mate, they're only in camp for a couple of weeks unless they're touring the UK, and it's really about motivation. And if you can't get motivated by Stacey Jones, giving you a little pat on the back and a little hug, I mean, I don't know what would motivate you really as a rugby league player. So I think that's a great appointment, and he's the sort of guy he'll be the guy at the top, and he'll just get guys in to do the work behind the scenes and do the coaching. He might even get heard Wayne Bennett mentioned as well, so he'll get people like that involved. I mean, and when I heard the Peter Volandis say about the Kiwis when Wayne Bennett was talking about going to the Kiwis, he sort of said, "Oh, why would he want to go to a team like the Kiwis when they're a bunch of losers?" So I sort of thought, well. Did you miss the last game, mate?
Yeah,
30-0. 30-0. So roll on the International Rugby League season, but most important, most of all, roll on the NRL, mate. I just absolutely can't wait.
Yeah,
bring it on.
Yeah. Outside the Warriors, because you're picking them to win the grand final.
Oh, I am.
Who's the other?
Well, you can't go too far past Penrith, mate. They won 3 in a row. I mean, they've got a dynasty there. They just look. They lose a couple of players, they bring a couple in. They've just got the best youth system in the NRL. They have to be favourites probably. And then you've got the usual suspects. You've got the Storm, who always look good. The Broncos, who will want to go one better, even though if they've gotten over fighting in the park. Did you see that the other day? What a bunch of
Adam
buffheads.
Reynolds
and Carrigan. Yeah. What a bunch of buffheads. And then afterwards, we're really sorry. We shouldn't have done it. I should have gone home. Too much booze, mate. Too much booze. So
happens every year. Happens every year in pre-season, doesn't it?
It does.
Somebody does something stupid.
Yep. And we're just at a public concert in the park by the looks of things, and just had a few too many and thought, we'll have a wrestle. As you do. I mean,
as you do.
Yeah. So the Broncos will be amongst it. Amongst the outsiders, I've got a sneaky suspicion the Titans could do something this year, and maybe the Cowboys too. They were latecomers at the end of last year, and Todd Payton got them going previously. I think they've made some shrewd signings, and look out for the Titans and the Cowboys maybe doing something outside the usual suspects.
Yep. Very good. Moving on to cricket.
Go on.
On earth.
It is summer.
Did the Black Caps blow that game on Wednesday night?
Well, there's a thing called the Harbour Bridge. Glenn Phillips, he's a great fielder. Usually at the covers, but on the boundary, there's no idea. Just stop the ball, mate. Stop the ball. You don't have to give it the $1 million dive. Although, really, we lost that in other places, really. It wasn't the last ball, was it? When we got that on the board, we shouldn't have lost that game.
Tim Southey bowling 3 wides in 1 over.
Here's a question, man. I mean, Tim Southey, how is he the captain, first of all, of our test team? I mean, some of his tactics are very questionable. I mean, did you see Wagner when he got his wicket?
Yep.
And they were like, "Who's he doing that to?" I thought
everybody saw that.
It's fucking obvious who he's doing that at. I mean, he's the 6th to bowl, and he's the 3rd seamer. I would have been pissed as well.
Yeah.
Southey. I mean, he's been a great servant. But now he's really a military medium bowler. He doesn't do much else. Yeah. They go, "Oh, he's got great hands." Well, really? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I just wouldn't have him anywhere near our T20 side, to be fair. But what did you make of that T20 game? Did you go to the stadium and watch it?
No, I didn't go. I watched a bit of it on the TV. Not too much, as you know. I'm not a huge T20 fan, but I'm looking forward to the test next week.
Yep. Yeah. Well, you're going to that, aren't you? Cricket. Sit on the bank at the Basin.
Yep, quite right. So I'll be there for that.
Now, what did you make of? Sorry, just before we get on to something else, what did you make of David Warner's comments?
He's just an idiot.
Comes across and starts slagging off the Kiwi fans before we've even had a chance to have a crack at him. What did you make of that?
Oh, geez. Just same rules apply, basically. No change from Davey Dum Dum.
Nah. He's a bloody idiot, isn't he? Trent Boult to return to the T20 match for the T20 tonight, which is an interesting call. I wish he was
returning for the Test series.
Why isn't he returning for the Test series?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, now the Black Caps finally won a Test series against South Africa, but
they did.
Regarded as a great win. I'm going to say probably not, given the strength or lack of the Proteas team that arrived on our shores, missing all of their top line players.
Yep.
But really, in 10 or 15 years,
no one's going to give a shit.
See that the Black Caps won a series 2-0 and we'll go, oh, that was a good result.
Absolutely. Not a great win, but it's a win. And they sent that team here. You still got to beat them in the second inning. I mean, looked like in that second test, we might have, we were at backs to the wall there for a while.
After day 2, when they bowled us out for 211, I was very nervous.
Absolutely. When Kane came through for us again, didn't he? He steadied the ship for sure.
Yep. And then, or even in their second innings when they were 200 and something for 4. They could quite easily have gone on and set us a total of in excess of 300, but
absolutely,
thankfully they lost their last 6 wickets for bugger all.
And Will O'Rourke was responsible for that. There's another young fast bowling guy coming through for New Zealand. What do you know about him?
Not a lot. I remember his father playing for Wellington, Paddy O'Rourke.
Really?
Yeah, he was born and bred in the Wairarapa.
I thought maybe his father was a javelin thrower, Mike O'Rourke.
O'Rourke, yeah. No, Paddy O'Rourke. He played about 30 games for Wellington. He was sort of your stock standard line and length medium pacer.
Okay. Well, this guy isn't.
Probably thought he was a fast bowler, but
this
really,
guy's definitely quick.
Definitely is.
He is, isn't he?
So yeah, he's a great find and some good speeds.
It was great. Good to see.
Radar.
And also in the cricket world, mate, what did you make of there's India versus England going on at the moment? It's 2-1 now to India after England took out that first game, and our old mate Chris Mitchell was very, very excited about it, wasn't he? Good on you, Chris. Now they're 2-1 down, playing Baz ball. They're getting a few pelters in the press about it, and they're saying, we're not going to change our style. We're going to keep playing like that. What do you make of all that?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean,
it is, eh?
Yeah, I don't know. They're just a bit stupid and lacking in, decent planning. I mean, you don't try and play that sort of cricket on Indian wickets. It's just ridiculous. You've unfortunately, when you go to India, you've just basically got to try and beat them at their own game. Which is very difficult to do, as we've seen over the years.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. So 2 more tests to come in that series.
Yep. A question for you.
Yeah, man.
You touched on Kane Williamson's great form there.
Yeah, yeah.
Is he becoming one of the greatest batsmen to ever play Test cricket?
I would say he's almost there, isn't he? I mean, when you look at the stats, I mean, I had something here the other day. Where is it? About the amount of centuries he's scored in relation to the other guys, and he's right up there. He's scored 28 centuries now. Is it 28?
32.
32. Sorry. See, I can't even keep up. 32 centuries. He's the quickest to 32 centuries. Is he New Zealand's greatest ever cricketer?
Oh, absolutely.
He's better than Paddles.
Yeah.
See that's for someone of our generation. I mean, Paddles only played 70 odd 80 tests, didn't he? So, and I just sort of think the all-round style, I don't know. It's tough for someone like us who just sort of held Paddles up as the
Yeah. So yeah, Richard Hadley, obviously our greatest all-round cricketer, but Kane Williamson, definitely our best ever batsman, no doubt about it.
Yeah, what a player! What the numbers are just phenomenal, aren't they, mate?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now a bit of excitement for me this weekend. Spring training baseball gets underway.
Oh no, we were not going to talk about the Super Bowl, are we? We're not talking about the Super Bowl. Moved on. We moved on from the NFL. That didn't happen. Taylor Swift's happy. That's all that matters.
Yep. Lots of new signings, but some what you would call big names are still unsigned.
Oh, okay. Who? Give me a list.
Two-time MVP Cody Bellinger, who
Ooh.
played for the Cubs last year, won the MVP with the Dodgers twice. Two-time Cy Young award-winning pitcher Blake Snell is still unsigned. He won the Cy Young in the National League last year. Texas Rangers World Series winning pitcher Jordan Montgomery and multiple Gold Glove winning third baseman Matt Chapman are all unsigned on the 22nd of February with spring training games starting. Now, for position players like Chapman and Bellinger, they can get going in a couple of weeks. But there's the 6 weeks of spring training. It is designed especially for pitchers, so they can get their arms up to speed and hit the start of the season running. So many times we've seen pitchers only give themselves a couple of weeks to get ready. Within 2 to 3 weeks of the season starting, they're on the injured list.
Yeah,
because they just don't get it going properly.
Yep. You got to get in that rhythm, eh? It's a bit like fast bowling.
Yeah, exactly. Some of the big signings, obviously, Shohei Ohtani signed for $700 million for 10 years.
More than telephone numbers.
Yeah. The Dodgers also signed top Japanese pitcher Yamamoto. They also signed top Tampa Bay pitcher Tyler Glasnow. They also signed Teoscar Hernandez from the Blue Jays.
They must be the favourites then, are they? I mean,
well, there's no coincidence that the Dodgers are owned by the Chelsea Todd Bowley.
It seems to work better at baseball, though. It's number crunching and stuff seems to work better in baseball. More number
this
based.
Is in addition to having perennial MVPs and champion players, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman.
Yeah. They've just got a phenomenal roster, don't they?
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
But excitement starting. The Yankees, they've made a couple of good signings. Juan Soto, they picked up in a trade from the Padres. He's going to be a free agent at the end of this coming season.
Wow. So the Yankees better make the playoffs.
Well, will it be a 1 year?
One and gone.
Stay for the Yankees, or will they be able to sign him to it'll be Shohei Ohtani numbers that they.
It will.
This kid's only 25 and he's already locked in for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. Houston Astros have strengthened their bullpen by signing All-Star closer Josh Hader.
Okay.
So they've got a strong back end of their bullpen. First game of the actual MLB season, we've got the Astros hosting the Yankees. So going to start out with a hiss and a roar. Now,
the cheaters versus the cheaters.
Yeah. Before we go, a little intricacy around sports for you.
Yep.
In football, we announce the score as Liverpool 3, Manchester United 0. In rugby, we say the All Blacks beat England 35-12.
Yep.
In league, the Warriors beat the Broncos 24-10.
Yep.
So why wasn't the recent cricket result read out? The Black Caps beat South Africa 480 to 477.
No idea why.
Should we just say New Zealand won by 7 wickets, or in the first, New Zealand won by 281 runs, not 690 to 409.
Yeah.
I'll leave you all to ponder on that one.
Something to ponder. Something.
I'll leave you to ponder on that one. That's the end of the first Hot Air Sports podcast of 2024. We'll be back in a couple of weeks' time, maybe.
And watch out for our Liverpool podcast. If you're a Liverpool fan, it's coming.
Kiwi Scousers podcast.